I'm an organizer for the Quesada Gardens Initiative in Bayview Hunters Point. When I moved in, this was a weedy, trash-strewn median strip, and there was a lot of drug trade and a lot of other nasty stuff, frankly, going on the block. And a couple of retired folks started to plant on the median strip in around 2001, 2002, and things changed overnight. We started to organize around them. You wouldn't feel safe here 3, 4, 5 years ago. There would have been a line of cars waiting to do drug trades and some folks who just wouldn't make you feel very safe. That really did change in about 2002. So actually we're going on 7 years now of sustaining the kind of social change that a lot of folks can't create anywhere. Particularly government programs will try to create this sort of social change without much success. Sometimes some success, but unable to sustain it over time. So we're really, as proud as we are of the gardens and the public art and the things that you see, we're even prouder of the social cohesion, the social capital that we've raised, just the fact that people know one another by name and work together in all sorts of ways as neighbors should. That, for me, is what the real accomplishment is, and that has sustained this social change over time in a way that other programs, other sorts of efforts can't, because they come from the outside and people aren't invested in the change. We are absolutely invested in keeping this as nice as it is now because we live here. I think that it would not be possible to create the level of change and sustain it over time in the way that we have without community involvement. There are examples a couple of blocks from here where a lot of money flooded the infrastructure and physical change was made, but the social problems in those areas haven't changed very much. So you can build a garden that doesn't necessarily create social change. But if the people who build the garden, are involved residents and are truly invested because it's their idea, they defined what it would look like, they defined that they wanted to have a garden in the first place as opposed to a playground or something else. If it's truly theirs and it's locally defined and community-led, resident-led, then there's a very good chance that this kind of social change will occur and that it will be sustained. On the 1700 block of Quesada, where the Quesada Garden is, which was the first of a cluster of projects that exists now, I would say 100% of the people are involved. 100% of the residents who live on this block are involved. And I say that because people walk out their doors and they are affected by the environmental changes that have been created, and also because nobody complains. If somebody wasn't happy with what their neighbors were doing, they'd say something. People would squawk. Nobody does. And in fact, and you've talked to a lot of the neighbors now, and the reviews are glowing. And why wouldn't it be, since we've created this kind of change and positive change by almost anybody's standards and have sustained it? Yes, people are willing to help. Government is willing to help. Businesses are willing to help. The hard part is finding the time to ask in the infrastructure to be able to manage the projects. Where it's been tough for us is getting the financial resources. So getting philanthropists, community foundations, government donors to understand that what we're doing really does make a positive impact on their bottom lines, contributes to their agenda, and to invest in us. They have trouble finding us because we're so small and informal, and they're used to giving their money to other places that frankly don't achieve the same results. Media is more responsive than most institutions in terms of projects like this. They like projects like this because there are real people who represent a neighborhood, a diverse neighborhood, who can speak to the camera and talk about something positive. And there wasn't very much of that at the time. So they gravitated toward us somewhat, but the truth is, I made a lot of phone calls. I wrote a press release. I did pitches. I had some of that experience. Most neighborhoods or communities, or even at the block level, have people who have these sorts of skills, I think. And it's not hard, really, to generate some media about positive community building projects like this. But it's critically important to do it because it gives you credibility. It gives you a group instant credibility with philanthropists and others who might be able to support you. And it also just helps with the momentum of the project. You know, our neighbors learned about what we were doing through the newspaper at one point early on.